Hello everyone, I am Srishti Pathak, a member of the Voices, and today with us we have an eminent personality, Professor Furqan Qamar, who has formally advised Niti AOG, and a member of our podcast team, Ali, will be engrossed in a fruitful conversation with him. So here we roll out.
Jai Jagat sir, on behalf of my whole team, I welcome you to the seventh episode of the Voices podcast. We are very much fortunate to have you today here as your insights and experiences are going to deeply enrich and benefit the students who are going to watch this podcast.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. In fact, when I got the invitation, I was as enthusiastic about coming and talking to you all. And I must congratulate you students and your whole team for taking this wonderful initiative. This way, you are not only learning yourself, but you are helping many of your friends within the school and outside the schools to also learn a great deal and providing us the opportunity to share some of our understanding and experience.
Sir, as you have headed various educational institutions and you have held different administrative posts, can you share your insights when you were a part of the Niti AOG and how these government commissions benefit the students who are going to pass out from schools and freshers in college?
When I was in policy planning, at that time it was called as Planning Commission of India. So Planning Commission was recasted as Niti AOG. Now, Planning Commission used to work in a way that it used to have a perspective of the economy as a whole, not only of the country, but also situated in the context of the aspects. So these policy planning bodies accumulate knowledge, assimilate them, and present in a manner that what India should do for the future, because education deals with future. It is not only the present, but when these students who are in class 1, class 10, class 9, they move on. So in future, how are they going to contribute? What would be the need of the economy? What would be the need of the society? What would be the expectation from the world at large? So they work as it ought to be.
Sir, according to you, if a student is passing out from school, should he opt for higher education in India or higher education in abroad? And what is the reason for your choice?
It's difficult and a personal question. In India, there are institutions which are of par excellence. You have IITs, you have IIMs, you have All India Institute of Medical Sciences. So there are some institutions which are of very high quality. They are comparable with anywhere in the world. Forget about the ranking. They might not be appearing in the ranking, but quality-wise, they are very much at par. Problem is that in India, the seat to application ratio is so high that many bright students are unable to make it to those institutions. Just to give you one example, last year in medical examination, NEET, some 23 lakh students appeared. More than 11 lakhs of them score more than 50% in that examination. Scoring 50% means that they are capable of pursuing medical education. So those people who are somehow able to manage funds, they go. Going abroad has many advantages, that you see a new world. You are exposed to some different approaches, different cultures, different education systems. Most of the countries where the students want to go are such which have low population and their economy is doing
So
better.
they can use the resources well.
So they can not only use their resources well, but they are likely to get jobs there. They are likely to get better career opportunities and prospects there. So, so there are many factors that influence a person. So I won't say that going abroad is bad or good, or is studying in India is good or bad. What is important is that a student should be clear as to what do they want to do, and then accordingly make their choices. A problem arises that when you wanted to do something and when you are forced to do something else, you wanted to study in India but were forced to go abroad, or when you wanted to study abroad but were compelled to study in India. So then there arises some conflict and going at that. So,
Sir, when a student is passing out from school and is about to join college, they usually commit some or the other mistakes which they shouldn't do and which are like they cause a harm in their admissions when they are going for colleges. So, according to you, how can the students omit such mistakes?
again, a very difficult question. Uh, I wouldn't say it's a mistake, but yes, information awareness about various kinds of opportunities and goals that you want to pursue. I would divide the students in many categories. One category is of the people who come from better off families, who have had educational background in their families. These students are rather well informed. So their parents could guide, the friends of the parents could guide, which we call as social endowment or family endowment. So there these students are better placed. I think most of these students in the city Montessori school would be coming from that background. But then the India is not represented by that. So in India, we also have large number of students who are the first generation learners, where these parental supports are not available. They are unable to guide them. So those people are at loss. Now, considering all of these factors, so at least let us focus to people like you who have support of an excellent institutions where you are studying, like CMS, and you have reasonably high quality support from your parents, family friends. Then to them, I would say a few things. Uh, On the other hand, if your goal is that no, I mean, money is important, but not that important that I should give my whole life to it. My goal is to become a better human being, to pursue my passion. I do what I like, so you pursue that kind of education.
That is the goal of everyone.
That is the goal of everyone. But one mistake that we do is that I'm very much interested in literature, language, history, uh, sociology, social sciences. That fascinates me. I want to make a career in that area. That may not be very paying area, but at the same time, all my friends are preparing for the IIT JEE, preparing for medical examination, and somehow the whole environment is created that if you are not preparing for JEE, you are not a good student. So then there is a peer pressure for you to also go to professional technical disciplines. And many times you find that even those who qualify but had interest elsewhere, they find somewhat lost. Now, why do parents often insist on professional technical programs? Because they think that their children may not be aware fully. They might end up not getting a job and those kinds of things. So I would suggest that by the time you reach your 11th standards, by the time you have been educated enough in your schools, you are exposed enough through various extracurricular activities to know where the world is going and where do you find yourself connected the most and to pursue that career. Whatever you pursue, be the best in that. A bad engineer or a bad doctor, a poor quality doctor or a poor quality engineer is not as successful as a high quality literature graduates.
Our services should be the best.
So excellence is the criteria. Whatever you choose the best. Remember, nothing is difficult, nothing is easy. It all depends on you. So don't think that, okay, engineering requires a lot of extra efforts and therefore I want to be lazy kind. I don't want to do that much efforts. Even humanities would take a lot of efforts if you actually want to become excellent in that. So focus on excellence. Another thing, I think my answer is becoming lengthier. Another thing that we should be aware that there are two things. One is that.
So quite valuable insights. Sir, as we have seen, there is a trend in the past few decades that students are focusing more on co-curricular activities like internships, projects, different events, Olympiads. According to you, how important are these events with academics, and how can a student maintain a balance between both of these things?
I think, you see, there is a world of education.
Yes.
And there is a world of work. Ideally, they should represent one another. So the world of work should be using the knowledge, skill, and aptitude that I was talking about, which a student learn in the world of education. But then what happens is that if in the education, what you are learning is the concept, the ideas, the theories. And initially, you find that those theories are not being used in the world of work. The world of work works at a more practical level where theories are at that stage are not being used. Later in your life, you would be needing those theories, ideas, and concepts. So that's having been studied in this school, you may not have an idea as to how does the corporate world or a world of work or a workplace looks like and what are the challenges. Here you are all friends, but in a professional life, you have many acquaintances. You have people who work in your team. There are some people who are above you. There are some people who are below you. There are some people who are peer. So a lot of communication. So you realize that like in your parents, you can afford to be a bit upset and angry, and your parents would then make you realize that, okay, you've been wrong. But then there is not a consequence. But in the world of work, it may have a consequence. Your boss is not going to cajole you into this. So you become familiar with those emotional issues. So this is about the internship. This is about the exposure. But now the third is the trickiest part. How to strike a balance. Life is all about balance. Is having a high temperature bad and having a low temperature good? No. There is an ideal temperature. Similarly, the case with the blood pressure, and similarly the case with the blood sugar level, and so on and so forth. So the nature tells us that it is the balance that you have to maintain.
Balance is the law of nature.
Balance is the law of the nature. Now, the extracurricular activities fascinates us the most because you find yourself in a unique situation. In a classroom situation, you find that everybody in the class, 60 people, 40 people in the class. So that fascinates. But then you should know that if you are excellent in your extracurricular, co-curricular activities, but if you ignore your so the real gain in economic terms starts arriving only after you have completed your education.
And arts. What, like according to you, in the coming few years, a decade or 15 years, what are the different career prospects we can see in these fields, and how important these career prospects will be?
You see, things are changing. When we were students, at that time, a student had to take a decision at the 8th class that in the 9th, 10th, whether he, she wants to go to arts, science, or commerce. Now that decision to take after 10th class, so 2 standard. Maybe in future it will happen that your high school qualification, I mean the senior secondary or intermediate qualification, will have wide array of subjects, not requiring you to specialize in one branch. So that would provide you exposure. And the idea is that by the time you do your 12th and you are about 17, 18 years of age, at that time you are mature enough that out of what you have been exposed to, you would be able to decide what is the best for you. This is one. And then they discover, and then 2 years they dive deep. They specialize in their chosen areas. So the future of education is in that direction. The other change is that presently in India, people believe that they must finish their schooling from class 1 till the highest level that they want to, and then they start their jobs. Globally, that things changed. So people study.
There are part-time jobs.
No, they take a break. They also do part-time job. They earn while they are learning to support their education, and they also take breaks, etc. So that has become a very common practice. In India also that trend is emerging. So it means that you are combining your world of work and your world of education. By leaving world of education to join world of work and then coming back to the field of education. So when people with some experience come to education, they become more aware as to what do they need. So these are the kind of changes that are happening and that will happen in India. It is only a matter of time. It requires preparedness of the institutions. Now the career possibilities are becoming enormous and very varied. So long as you realize this and take a conscious call, it's fine. But you take the responsibility of your action and decision. Then don't blame others for misguiding you or for not guiding you properly. So this is how we do it. So you should be willing to pursue your passion anywhere where that opportunity arises. That is why the focus of education is also becoming also to become global citizens. So you are not only an Indian citizen, but you are essentially a global citizen. What is this global citizens? That you know the demand of living in a multicultural, cross-cultural, multilingual society where you respect diversity, where you shed your stereotypes, where you treat every human being as equal, and not only as equal, but you treat every human being as unique. So it can never be that like what I'm saying is right, everybody else is wrong. No, everybody else could be right, and let us find the best out of those so many right things. So these are the kind of opportunities that you have.
Quite valuable insights. So last but not least, I would like to ask you, like, can you give a small piece of advice to the students who are going to enter into the next step of education?
Choose your career carefully. Do your best in whatever path you have chosen. don't have the life of regret, because the moment you choose one path, at least for the time being, the other path is now left. You have crossed that crossroad. So do your best in that. In every path that you choose, you will find that there are many things which are very fascinating, but then there are some obstacles to us. Another thing that I would say that India is one such country which is presently not 100% employment country. So the competition is a major factor. So be prepared for the competition. You can't avoid. Similarly, you must all know that life itself brings in a lot of pressures, opportunities, and at the same time, there are pressures, stresses. And don't break when those kinds of pressures come up. This is part of the life. What we can do earlier, when the fifth standard examination used to be a board examination, people said that okay, that brings a lot of stress on a very young people. So don't do board examination at fifth. Take the board examination to eighth. But what we did, we shifted. We postponed the time of pressure from the fifth standard, 10 years of age, to about 14 years of age. Then they said, okay, no examination in high school, no board examination. Imagining a life which is free of all kind of pressures, living in a bliss, is an impossibility. So it is part of the life, and we as a human being, we as a future of the nation, must be willing to accept and to take those challenges and to overcome. There's a very old theory that is called as challenge and response theory. Every civilization is faced with some challenges at different stages of development. Those civilizations which are able to provide appropriate response to those challenges, they overcome those challenges. So if their first challenge was how to save themselves from the severe winter, and they provided a response by bringing homes which is insulated and which protected them from the vagaries of the weather. So is it the end of the challenge? No. They will enter into the new orbit, and then they will experience a new challenge, that now weather is overcome. Now we are feeling more hungry. So the food has to come, and so on. So these challenges are part of the life. Embrace them. That is the message that I will give. And therefore, now we keep on that knowledge of sources. So what we learn today may or may not remain relevant tomorrow. It means, and every time you can't go to a school or a college because that is an expensive proposition. So first thing that they are saying is that now we are entering into a phase where there will be lifelong learning. You have to continuously learn and upgrade. At the same time, you have to unlearn many things. What was relevant? Say, for example, earlier, remembering all the tables up to 50 was a necessary conditions. No, we had to unlearn because the calculator is available. All your spreadsheet is able to provide you all those information. So now you unlearn. But you learn this new skills. So unlearning, learning, lifelong learning, and the best way and the most efficient way is self-learning. And this self-learning is coming very handy with all these technology. Think of a topic in which you are interested. Even if you are not very expert in technology, just go to YouTube, enter some keywords, and you will find hundreds of lectures.
Machine learning.
Or no, machine learning is a tool to know many things, but then the search engines have become also better. The ChatGPT, OpenAI, Open General AI have become a better search engine. that earlier the search engine would provide you a series of information where you could choose. The AI would provide you information culled out from there, that these are the information. So self-learning opportunities have become enormous. So focus, concentration, and your desire to learn, and your ability and your access to technology is a great tool.
Thank you, sir. It was quite enriching having a conversation with you. Thank you. You found some time for us from your busy schedule. It was quite enriching, and it will truly benefit the students who are going to watch this podcast. Once again, sir, thank you so much.
Thank you, Aliamar. It's been a pleasure seeing this whole team of students doing such a professional kinds of jobs with only one technology, which is comprising of many technologies, but it's a pleasure talking to you, and you all did wonderful research to frame these questions. I hope I passed your exams.
Right, sir.
It was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is all from my side. I'm Chitransh, a member of the Voices, and I hope you liked this fruitful conversation of Ali with Sir. Please do share, like, and subscribe to the Voices. Till then, I'm signing off.